Good morning. It's not as sunny out this morning. It's overcast and cloudy, but we're supposed to have some beautiful rain today. All this beautiful moisture is wonderful. I know that there's a lot of people that are flooding right now, and I'm sad for them. Just make sure that when you seek a remediator, they don't tell you that dried up mold is not a problem, because they are wrong. You have to completely get rid of anything that was saturated. It takes toxic mold less than 48 hours to get a foothold and thrive in your home, so be careful. Okay, so today's theme is an exciting one. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can become it. Love that. There is a masterful power in our mind. It is our will to accomplish something. It is our will to manifest the energy in our brain and manifest that energy in our life. I've been reading a lot of books on scientific brain theories and how the brain works and mapping the brain and dynamic neural retraining and cognitive behavior therapy and all these wonderful things that talk about how the brain works and how we manifest positive change in our lives. And part of doing that is starting with imagining the positive. And which is interesting because some of this brain stuff is a review for me from when I was in college, but some of it is new. Some of it's new science since I graduated from college. And it's funny because for years and years and years, I've talked about an astral temple. I've talked about meditative landscapes. I've talked about building your dream in your mind and really giving it that energy so that you can manifest that in your life. And now they're talking about that in these brain retraining courses. And I'm like, oh, I've been doing it. I've been on the right track. I wasn't wrong. It was nice to get some validation. I'm sure there are things that I can learn, and I am learning. And hopefully I can apply that to my workshops and working with clients and with everyone else. So I'm going to read from my Come as a Brother again. Never underestimate the desire of the divine to be unified. When your will is to be unified with the divine, then know that you are in harmony with the divine, and all its powers will come to your aid. But if you opt for diversity, separation, isolation, then you must operate on your own, because the divine will not rush to separate, it only rushes to unite. When you decide to lay fear aside, it will move for you. When you speak of fear of pain, you are speaking of imagined future event based on past experience, and you are caught between 2 points, the past and future, that do not exist. Indeed, you are overlooking the only point that does exist, which is now. There is only one place where you can connect with the divine power, and that is right now. What you think about, is what you will manifest. What you think about, you must manifest. Those of you who are exalting your despondency, who feel very put upon in life, know that you are making your own misery. If you want to know why your world is as it is, spend some time observing your own thoughts and see. It will clarify much for you. If you are really perplexed about why your life contains so much chaos, why you can't see clearly, and why you see alternatives but cannot choose, pay attention to what you think, and you will see that your mind is giving energy to many areas, thus creating many possible realities. Energy follows thought. That is the divine law. I love that passage. You know, I'd say about the last 7 or 8 years, the big trend has been positive thinking, positive thinking, positive thinking. I think a lot of it has to do with bringing positive into your life. The downside to that is there's a lot of talk about positive thinking, but along with that, people adopt judgments to go with it. And you have to let go of your judgments, and you have to let go of the negative fear that you hold on to. People will put a layer of positive on the top of the already icky stuff underneath, and they haven't really dealt with the underneath. It's kind of like trying to build a house on a marsh. You can add dirt, and put a concrete slab on it, put a house on it, but in a year or two, that house is going to settle, that foundation is going to crack, and all that stuff's going to seep up into your house. And that's what you don't want to do. What you want to do is live in harmony with the marsh and really pull all that stuff up to the surface and deal with it, so that as you move, and in reality, you don't build on the marsh. You go over to where there's actually solid land in that area, in your heart, in your space. I know that might be kind of a deep analogy, and I apologize, but if you can dream it, you can be it. If you can imagine it, it can happen. It takes time to overcome the habits of negative thinking. It takes time to overcome the habits of excuse making. And it's sometimes a lifetime, especially if you've been immersed in it as a small child. Those brain synapses, I had somebody years ago make a comment about my kiddos, and I said, you know what? I had the most formidable years in brain development with my children, and those years paid off. Years have gone by. I have 2 beautiful children that are very successful in what they do, and the reason is because those really early years, I had no TV in my home. We played games. I read to them all the time. I did not talk to them like children. I talked to them like small adults. I reinforced with firm guidelines and firm expectations, and gave them lots and lots and lots of affection and love. Those are things you do with children. You don't let them run rampant. You don't become their best friend. And you don't neglect those first 6 years are the most important to brain development. They've done the research on it. The science is there. You don't wait till they're in kindergarten before you start applying things. You have to really spend those early years conscientiously for helping their brain develop. And those of us that didn't have that, or any of you that didn't have that, or any of us that didn't have some of that, it takes a lifetime to rewire that brain. It takes time to consciously look at that rewiring and work on it. But I was just listening to an audiobook about brain elasticity, and we are not finite end creatures when we hit 30 or 25. Our brain doesn't stop. Our brain is elastic, and we are able to manipulate it, and we are able to change it, and we are able to grow and develop and become more of who we are. We don't stop growing. We don't stop learning. Every day is a new day. Grab hold of that enthusiasm and shake it and own it. Okay, so I kind of got off topic, but anyway, not really, but I just kind of wandered a little bit with my thoughts. So have a beautiful day. I'm going to be at Barjan's this Saturday if anybody wants to join me for a reading. Barjan's is in Billings, Montana. You can call them to make an appointment. Also, this video will be on my YouTube channel, so if you happen to listen to it, click down below and subscribe. I'd be happy to have you. Have a beautiful day, and I hope your day is filled with light and love, and I will see you tomorrow in prayer. Blessed be.